You lie down to rest. You close your eyes expecting sleep to bring relief, silence, and recovery after a full day of activity. But what if, while you believe you're entering the safest moment of your day, your heart is actually entering a dangerous state of alert? What if, instead of resting, your body is dealing with conditions that silently increase the risk of a heart attack or a stroke? That idea may sound frightening, but it's a reality many adults discover too late. For hundreds of thousands of people over the age of 50, the night becomes the silent stage for serious cardiovascular events. Heart attacks and strokes don't occur only during moments of intense physical effort or extreme stress. In fact, a significant portion of these events happen during sleep, when a person is completely vulnerable and often alone. No warning, no pain that is remembered, just silence. For decades, doctors and researchers have tried to understand why so many cardiovascular tragedies occur during the hours when the body should be recovering. Extensive studies conducted around the world have revealed a concerning pattern. The period between 10 at night and 6 in the morning accounts for nearly half of fatal cardiovascular events in older adults. This raises an unavoidable question. Why does the heart become more vulnerable exactly when we are sleeping? The answer begins with the way the human body is designed to function during the night. When everything is balanced, sleep activates a protective physiological state. Blood pressure naturally falls. Heart rate slows down. The nervous system shifts from alert mode to repair mode. The brain begins complex metabolic cleaning processes, removing waste that accumulates during the day. This period of deep rest is essential for cardiovascular health. It allows the arteries to relax, the heart to reduce its workload, and the body to restore the chemical balance needed to face the next day. But this delicate system can be disrupted. Small nighttime habits, often considered completely normal, can interfere with these natural processes. When this happens, sleep stops being a period of protection and becomes a scenario of silent physiological stress. The result is that the heart, instead of resting, continues working under pressure. Dr. Charles Bennett, a researcher dedicated to cardiovascular health in adults over 50, spent decades observing this phenomenon. In his clinical studies, he noticed something many patients had never considered. The moments before sleep can determine how the heart will behave throughout the entire night. Many people believe that night is a period of total inactivity for the body. They assume that once they lie down in bed, all systems automatically switch into rest mode. But the human organism is far more complex. During sleep, the heart continues working. The brain continues regulating hormones. The respiratory system continues ensuring proper oxygenation of the blood. And any interference in these processes can trigger dangerous reactions. One of the most important factors is related to how blood pressure behaves during the night. In healthy individuals, blood pressure naturally drops during sleep. This phenomenon is known as nocturnal dipping and is considered a sign of good cardiovascular health. It reduces stress on the arterial walls and allows the circulatory system to recover its stability. However, in many people over the age of 50, this natural drop does not occur. In some cases, blood pressure remains elevated during the night. In others, it may even rise. This condition is called nocturnal hypertension and represents one of the most dangerous risk factors for heart attacks and strokes. The problem is that most people do not realize when this is happening. During the day, symptoms such as dizziness, headaches, or palpitations may indicate something is wrong. But at night, while a person sleeps, these signs go unnoticed. The body enters a silent battle, and several seemingly harmless habits can trigger this situation. One of them is related to nighttime eating. After the age of 50, metabolism begins to change. The body takes longer to digest food, and the cardiovascular system may respond differently to the digestive process. When someone consumes a heavy meal late at night, especially after 8 or 9 in the evening, the body must mobilize energy to digest that food. This means the digestive system demands a significant increase in blood flow. The heart needs to pump more blood to the stomach and intestines. Blood pressure may rise instead of falling. In other words, the heart is forced to work harder precisely at the moment when it should be relaxing. In addition, heavy nighttime meals can increase triglyceride levels in the blood, stimulate inflammatory processes in the arteries, and interfere with the hormonal regulation that controls the sleep cycle. Another frequently ignored issue is acid reflux. Going to sleep shortly after a heavy meal can cause stomach contents to move back into the esophagus. This reflux doesn't just cause digestive discomfort, it can stimulate the vagus nerve, a structure that directly influences heart rhythm. In some cases, this stimulation can trigger arrhythmias or disturbances in the heart's rhythm. Another dangerous habit involves the improper use of medications. Many people over 50 take medications to control blood pressure, cholesterol, or blood clotting. These medications are extremely important for reducing the risk of cardiovascular events, but the time they are taken can make a significant difference. Blood pressure follows a biological rhythm throughout the day. There are times when it tends to rise and others when it naturally falls. When medications are taken at the correct time, they help stabilize these fluctuations. But when doses are missed or taken irregularly, blood pressure control can become unpredictable. During sleep, these fluctuations can produce silent spikes in blood pressure. These spikes may rupture fatty plaques accumulated in the arteries or promote the formation of clots. If one of those clots blocks an artery in the heart, a heart attack occurs. If it blocks an artery in the brain, a stroke occurs. Another extremely relevant factor is sleep apnea. Millions of adults suffer from this condition without knowing it. Sleep apnea causes repeated pauses in breathing during sleep. Each pause may last several seconds. During that time, oxygen levels in the blood begin to drop. The body reacts as if it were facing an emergency. The brain activates defense mechanisms, releasing stress hormones and accelerating the heartbeat. Blood pressure rises rapidly in an attempt to compensate for the lack of oxygen. This process can repeat dozens or even hundreds of times during a single night. Over time, this pattern creates enormous stress on the cardiovascular system. Another seemingly simple habit with significant impact is dehydration. As people age, the sensation of thirst tends to decrease. Many individuals go hours without drinking water without realizing it. Some also avoid drinking liquids at night to prevent waking up to use the bathroom. The problem is that the body continues losing water during sleep through breathing and perspiration. When a person goes to bed already dehydrated, the blood can become more concentrated. This increases its viscosity and makes circulation more difficult. Slower blood flow favors clot formation and may reduce oxygen delivery to critical tissues such as the heart and brain. Another often overlooked factor is the temperature of the sleeping environment. The human body depends on thermal balance to maintain stable physiological functions. If the bedroom is too warm, the body must work to dissipate heat. Blood vessels dilate, the heart rate increases, and fluid loss rises. If the environment is too cold, the opposite occurs. Blood vessels constrict to preserve body heat. This constriction increases vascular resistance and forces the heart to pump against higher pressure. In people whose arteries are already stiff or partially blocked, this additional strain can become the final trigger for a cardiovascular event. When several of these factors combine, the risk increases even more. A heavy late-night meal combined with dehydration, poor room temperature, and sleep apnea can create a true physiological storm. The heart tries to adapt to all these pressures at the same time, and in some cases, it simply cannot. The good news is that many of these risks can be reduced with simple changes. The first strategy is adjusting meal timing. Eating earlier and choosing lighter meals allows the digestive system to complete much of its work before sleep begins. Another important step is maintaining proper hydration throughout the day and ensuring a small intake of water a few hours before going to bed. Strictly following medical prescriptions for cardiovascular medications is also essential. If there are signs of sleep apnea, such as loud snoring or a choking sensation during the night, seeking medical evaluation can make a significant difference. And finally, keeping the sleeping environment at a comfortable and stable temperature helps the body maintain its physiological balance. Sleep should be a time of healing. When the right conditions are created, it truly becomes a powerful protective tool for the heart and brain. But when harmful habits interfere with this process, the night can become a moment of silent risk. The truth is that many nighttime cardiovascular tragedies are not inevitable. They are often the result of patterns that can be changed. Understanding these mechanisms is the first step in transforming sleep back into an ally of health. Because while you sleep, your heart keeps working, and the choices you make before closing your eyes may determine whether it spends the night in peace or in danger.